So in this assignment, we are going to recreate our table view, but this time you will notice that it's going to be a lot cooler. I'm going to show you how to round out your picture. We will also have the cafe name up at the top with the location and the type of cafe. Okay, so this is the UI view. Under the hood, we are going to create two new classes, the Cafe Table View Controller class, and also we have a Cafe Table View Cell class. Alright, so this is going to be a lot more fun. And in our main storyboard, we'll have an image view right here with 3 labels. So you'll have a lot of fun with this assignment. Okay, so let's start by creating a brand new single view application. I'm going to call this one My Fave Cafes. And don't check any of these boxes down here and click Next. I'm going to create it in my cis120 folder. Here we can uncheck this box, automatically manage signing. And then let's go to our storyboard. Here we will see that we have a view controller right here. I am going to remove the whole view controller scene. So I'm going to click on this and press delete on my keyboard. So therefore I have no more scenes left. Let's go to our object library and look for table view. So we are going to drag a table view controller to our storyboard right here. So instead of a view controller, we now have a table view controller. With the table view controller, go to the attributes inspector. Be sure that is initial view controller is selected. Okay, notice that this arrow will appear. It means that our first view upon running this application will be this table view. Now let's create a new class. So I'm going to go to File, New, File. We are going to create a Cocoa Touch class. And this time we are going to call this a Cafe Table View Controller. And it is a subclass of a UI Table View Controller. Okay, so we want to look for UI Table View Controller. Right there, UI Table View Controller. Be sure you get this right. Click Next and save it in the same place, My Cafes folder, create. So while we're at it, let's create another class. So you can just go to File, New, File, same thing. This time we are going to create a Cafe Table View Cell, and it's going to be a subclass of UI Table View Cell. Okay, so now you have UI Table View Cell and Cafe Table View Controller. Sounds good. Let's go to our storyboard, and with the Table View Controller still selected, you are going to the Identity Inspector right here. And for the class of this Table View Controller, we are going to assign it Cafe Table View Controller that we just created. And then for the Table View Cell, we will assign it a Cafe Table View Cell. Now let's construct our user interface. What we want to do is have an image here, and we want to have 3 labels with the name of our cafe, the location, and the type. Okay, so verify that the for this cell here, the style is custom and the identifier is cell, C-E-L-L. So this is nothing new. And go to our sizes over here. We want the row height of this cell to be 80. Okay, press enter. So now you'll have a little bit more real estate here to place your picture. Let's go to the table view And also for our table view, we also want the row height to be 80. So I'm going to type in 80. So we want the cell to be 80 and the table view row height to be 80. So go back to my cell here, go to your object library. You could look for image view right here, and just drag that over. So instead of dragging this image around, we could just go ahead and set the attribute for this, the picture dimension, 60 by 60. And for the x coordinate, I want it to be about 14 relative to this area here, 14. And the y coordinate to be 10. Okay, so 14 and 10. Cool. Let's add our labels. So click on labels and click and just drag it over. I'll just place it like right there. And I can stretch it a little bit. Let's go ahead and click on this. And I'm going to do Command C, Command V. And Command V again. Name, location, type. Let's go and change the font for this. Attribute inspector, click on this, and instead of system font, choose custom. I can pick whatever font I like. So I'm just going to pick Avenir to bold. And this one here, pick a different font, Arial, and make it a little bit smaller. I want my location to be 14. And then for the type, let's choose different font here. Arial, maybe 12. Okay, let's just verify that everything looks good. Okay, so I think we are set. Let's go to my cafe table view, and up at the top I'm going to create some outlet variables. So we have done this before. So you do the at IB outlet and create a variable name. And you can call this whatever you like as long as you are consistent in its usage later. Okay. So next let's connect these outlet variables. So go back to our storyboard and right click on the cell. Just right click on the cell. And you will see that you have these outlet variables here, name, label. So I'm going to click on this and drag to name. Thumbnail, type, location, okay. And if you ever get lost, you can always open it up again by clicking on this button over here, and it will show you how all of these things are connected. So you click on this one, you see that? Okay, and you can always click the X to remove the connection and then redo what you just did. So this one looks good. So we have this one. And notice that these dots are solid, meaning that the outlet variables are connected. Go to our cafe table view. Go down a little bit. Here we actually need to have one section, so I'm going to change that to 1. And then here we need to return the number of cafes. So how do we know that? We do cafe names dot count. So the number of cafes in our array. But we don't have this array yet, so no problem. Let's go up to the top and just create some here. Okay, so I've typed this in already right here. So now let's go down and you will see that this one is now valid. So let's remove the commenting here. Take a look here. you could see that this particular function is returning a generic UI table view cell. So let's go ahead and declare our cell identifier. Equal to quote CLL, which we set before, and then over here, instead of using this, I'm going to change it to cell identifier. And because I am going to return a custom class for my cell, I'm going to do as cafe table view cell. Okay. Why did I do this? Because that way I can fully utilize the properties inside the cafe table view cell. So here we're going to configure our cells. How are we going to do this? I'm going to type in cell dot, and then instead of text label as what we've done before, we can use name label. Okay. Dot text is equal to, now let's use our array, cafe name, and then index path dot row. Okay, looks good. So here I can just copy and paste and paste. So now instead of name, we have location and type. If you do it correctly, the color will change and match like above. So instead of here cafe names, we have cafe locations. Okay, so you have to be very detailed oriented when you're coding. Everything has to match, case sensitive as well. How about our dot image thumbnail image view dot image is equal to UI image. Then the name for that is going to be drawn from the array as well, cafe image. Index path dot row. Okay, looks good. Okay, so I think we're done. Let's test this out. Okay, so let's take a look. Everything looks pretty good except we don't have our pictures here. Okay, and that's pretty easy to figure out. That's because if I go to my assets, Xcode assets, I don't have my pictures. So all I have to do is drag my pictures to this folder, exactly like what you did before. So let's do it. Okay, open up my images folder and then just drag everything over. Okay, looks pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to do is, let's see if we can make this into a circle instead of a square. So we can do this by going back to our storyboard and click on this UI image view here. Let's go to the identity inspector over here. And then we are going to add a user-defined runtime attribute. So let's click on the add here. And then for the key path, we are going to type in something like this. Let's double click on it. Layer dot corner radius. Okay, so that's the name of this particular attribute. The type for this is going to be a number, and the value is going to be 30. So here we are going to create a corner radius of 30. So now that we have this attribute, let's go to our attribute inspector, and then you want to check this box, clip to bounds. This will cause the content of this image view to be rounded. Cool. Take a look at this. Looks nice, huh? In the next assignment, I'm going to show you how to create various actions for each row. You can swipe to the left or you can swipe to the right. You can delete each element if you like. So it will be a lot of fun. So hang in there.